Okay, so let's, previous discussion in mind, why don't we do some little bit of squats and some lunges, but let's do it with regular interspersal of foot stuff.
Sure.
So let's start with just some basic squats. So get your feet nicely planted. We'll go for a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Feet pointing straight forward, which is going to limit your range, and it's going to make your knees more inclined to come forward, but it's going to reveal what's happening in your hips a little bit more effectively. So if you don't manage where your knees are going when your feet are pointing straight forward, what do? Mine totally go in centered. So then manage and send your knees forward and go only, and your knees can come forward a little bit. I mean, we don't want them to go, to the front of the room, but absolutely we're not doing perpendicular shin squats. But go only as far as you can go, maintaining that knees forward orientation of your thigh bones and your knees. So you can certainly use your device as a tool here. You can just look down at what your knees are doing. And see if you can make sure that you're really getting your butt back more than your shoulders down, so that you feel you've got work in your thighs and you've got work in your glutes and your hamstrings. 5, 4, 3, keeping your chest a little bit high, 2, and last one. And then come on back up and grab your yoga tune-up balls, and we'll do a little footwork. So you're going to lose my head, but you're going to see my feet. So we'll start with just roll. No particular pattern. Just cover the whole sole of your foot, putting as much or as little pressure as feels good to you. Make sure that my mat is moving everywhere. Make sure that you've covered all the little blind spots. So around the edges of your heel, the space in between your toes and the ball of your foot, right to the very edges of both the inner and outer arches. And then from there, anchor your heel on the floor and go for the rainbow arc. So you're bringing the big toe side of the ball of your foot towards the floor, and then the baby toe foot side. So in this initial pass, you absolutely are going to feel your leg going with you, right? Your knee is going to end up pointing in and pointing out as your foot moves. But you're not leading from your leg, right? You're not taking your knee in and out on purpose. You really want to be moving through the ball of your foot, the front of your foot. One more. And then step back, bend that forward knee, lean into it with your elbow. So you're going to kind of use your elbow to stabilize your leg so that your knee is lined up with your ankle. And then instead of going for a full rainbow, just push the big toe side of the ball of your foot into the ball and release. And push in and release. And you're trying to keep your knee and your ankle really still. And you're keeping your knee pressed out to the side. So your knee is not in towards center. So if I line up this way, you want to make sure that you're not here. You want to try and press out so that your hip, your thigh, your knee, your shin, your ankle, they're all lined up. And you can use the outward pressure of your ankle to make that happen. And then you have just this little tiny 1-inch push of the ball of your foot into the into the ball. Couple more. And then put the ball aside, and before we go to the other foot, reset, legs a little bit wider than hip distance apart and feet pointing forward. And come back into your squats. And just see if you now feel weirdly cockeyed. Is there a difference between the side where you've done the footwork and the side where you have not? Couple more. And last one. And then you change over and you do the same thing on the other side. Start with just roll everywhere. I'm just gonna hit mute for you guys. We have some sound coming from all the various steppings down onto balls. Hello, kitten. This is the lovely Lily, has brought me a present. She fully objects to this whole idea that I spend hours at a time not paying attention to her. She thinks that's very wrong. Okay, so take a minute to just make sure that you haven't missed any of the less obvious spots. So you come all around the edges of your heel. You get all the way to the inside and outside of your arch. Right? Because it's really natural to go to the middle of your arch, but you want to get the outside bits and the space in between your toes and the ball of your foot. And then you put your heel on the floor. The ball of your foot is on the ball. And you roll the outside edge of your foot towards the floor and then the inside edge of your foot. So you're doing this little rainbow from side to side. And you're letting your leg go with you. You're not driving from your leg, but you're definitely letting your leg follow along. One more on each side. And then come on back to center. Step your other foot back. So your other foot can kind of turn out, right? You're a little bit like it's like you're in the ready to run position. Get your elbow wedged into the inside of your knee. So that's going to help you line up. You want to go from your hip to your knee to your ankle. You can even use the other hand to stabilize your ankle. And now, rather than trying to create the whole rainbow, you're just doing the inside part and only as far as you can go without moving everything else. So it's this little push of the ball of your foot on the big toe side into the ball. Five, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then come on off there. And shockingly, come on back for a few more squats. Maybe take your legs wider or narrower. Change it up a little bit. Feet pointing straight forward. Bend and press. And really try to find that balance of some thigh work and some glute and hamstring work. Five, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then let's take the same bend and stretch shape and flip it to gravity. So grab a stretchy band, lie down. I just have to show you, Lily has come from deciding that I'm not paying enough attention to her. She has now little rest on the bolster. So, stretchy band around your right foot. Bring your left leg up to tabletop. Right knee in towards your chest, and then from the back of your right leg, exhale, extend. Inhale, slide back in. Exhale, press out. And you want to think of this as a tracking exercise. So watch your knee and your thigh bone and your shin. You want to try and keep your foot, your ankle, your shin, your knee, your thigh, keep them all lined up as you bend and straighten. And the effort is on the press away, not on the pull forward, not on the pull in. Exhale, push out. Inhale, release. And your left leg's not moving, it's just staying right there in its tabletop shape. 3, 2, and last one. Come on back in, change over, same thing, other side. Right leg nice and stable at tabletop. Line up your left leg, press out, slide in. Find the work for the glutes and hamstrings to push your left leg towards the band and away from your body, and slide back in. As you exhale and extend your leg, it would be lovely if your torso stayed nice and still and your abdominal muscles responded. We're not thinking of this primarily as an ab exercise at the moment, but it'd be lovely if there was some participation. 3, 2, and last one. Come on back in. Both legs in the strap. Inhale to stay. Exhale, extend both legs. Now this is more of an ab exercise. So find the height for your legs, whatever that might be, where your back is happy and stable and you feel your stomach muscles really kind of kicking in as you extend your legs, and you're still using the muscles in the backs of your legs to create the press. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Come on back in, lose the band, and we'll go for single leg stretch and double leg stretch. So pull your right knee in towards your chest, right hand on the outside of your calf, left hand on the inside of your knee. Inhale to stay. Exhale, extend your left leg at whatever height works for you. And if you want to roll up into ab prep, you absolutely can do that. And then slow exhale to change sides. Inhale to stay, slow exhale to change sides. See if you can continue to think about the tracking. So you're still bringing your knee straight in towards your shoulder rather than letting it cross towards center. And you're matching your exhale with the reach of your leg. Reach and reach. Last 2. Last 1. Pull your legs back in, roll down, float your feet to the floor, and just do a little head turn from side to side. And see if you can let your neck muscles relax as you go from side to side. So you kind of have the weight of your head turning you rather than that you're doing a really busy turn. One more on each side. come on back to center. Bring your knees in towards your chest. And then again, you can choose to keep your head down for this exercise, or you can roll up into your ab prep, whichever you prefer. If you're doing your ab prep, you're curling your chest and your shoulders off the floor, not just your head. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Stay connected all the time. Inhale for nothing. Exhale, extend arms and legs. Now, whatever height works for you. Inhale, circle, and pull back in. So your inner thighs are always working. Your legs are always connected. Your arms are reaching straight back and then circling as you come back in. 3. And again, you could totally do this with your head down, or I guess you could split and hold one hand behind your head, but this is the last one. So just carry on with what you're doing. Circle and pull back in, and then roll yourself all the way back up. Retrieve your stretchy band. Have a seat. Bring your arms nice and long. Slide your arms up towards the ceiling, and then come back as far as makes sense for you without feeling like your shoulders are going to explode. And come forward. Up. Back with control. So you're not trying to sort of flop back. You want to be working your shoulders. Up. Little bit of pull. Press back. Try and keep your shoulders heavy and away from your ears. Not by jamming them down, but just by not pulling them too far up. And press. And up and forward. 3 more. And 2. And last one. So hopefully you found that your range increased a little bit as you went through the series. And then keep your arms in front of you and slide out to the side and back in. Do whatever you need to do with your head to make sure that this doesn't just turn into a neck exercise. So for some people, it's going to be helpful to let your head drop down. We're looking for work along the back of your arm, the back of your shoulder, and back between your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades are definitely pulling together, but it's not just your shoulder blades pulling together. So arms really straight and connect from your baby finger all the way back to the spot in between your shoulder blades. 3, 2, last one. Come back in and then change your legs. So flip the other leg over, which will feel very backwards. And then bring your arms up overhead, and you're still connecting from your baby finger, but now it's down to the back of your underarm, and pull so that your arms stay straight and your band is coming slightly in front of your face. So now we're trying to work into your lats. You want the drive to primarily come from below your underarms. Last one like this. And then if you have the shoulder mobility for it, do the same thing with the band coming behind your head. If the only way you can make that happen is by pushing your ribs way forward, I would rather you stay stacked and keep the band in front of you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then bring your arms back up. Loose the band, turn your palms to face the ceiling, tuck your elbows in towards your waist, and your upper arms are going to stay vertical as you externally rotate. So you're keeping, again, your torso nice and still. So there's a little sort of ab connection, and you're keeping your upper arms vertical so that you don't end up moving your elbows back in space, even if that means you don't go as far. We're really looking to get into the back of your rotator cuff and the back of your shoulders here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Pause in the externally rotated position and reach your arms out to your sides and pull back in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On the last one, stay out and make circles. Actually, stay out, make fists. So really strong connection from your shoulders to your hands, and now make circles. And then change directions. Six, 7, 8. Relax your arms, shimmy out your shoulders, and then grab something, block, half dome, bolster. I can't use my bolster because the cat's on my bolster, and everybody knows the cat rules the house. So you come a little bit higher off the floor. Nice and long through your spine. Fold your hands over your chest, and then twist and twist. So you're trying to keep your pelvis pretty stable, which again is going to limit a little bit how far you can go. So that we're focusing mostly on the upper part of your spine and your upper rib cage to create the twist, rather than that you're turning from your lower spine and your pelvis. One more on each side. And then fold the other hand in front. This time we're going to go repeatedly to the left and center and left and center and left. Now hold at the left and just stay nicely stacked. So your head, your shoulders, your ribs, they're all kind of in this rotated position directly over your pelvis. Big breath into the sides of your ribs. And relax. Come on back to center. And then twist to the right. And twist. Last two. And last one, and hold. Make sure you're all nicely set and centered. Keep the twist. Nice big breath into your ribs. And then let the breath go. And come on back to center. Relax your arms. And then take your legs wide. Move your cat toys to whatever feels like a good wide position, and flex your ankles. Bring your hands up in front of your forehead, and then keep your spine really nice and long, and lean forward and stack back up. And lean forward and stack back up. So your lean is being initiated from your pelvis, coming forward over your leg bones, as opposed to your lean is initiating from your head, your neck, and your shoulders. So we're trying not to curve. You want to keep a long spine as you tip forward. Last two. And last one. And stack back up. And then bring your legs to a slightly different position. So probably a little bit closer together. And same as with the stretchy band thing, if you now have the space to bring your hands behind your head, go for it. As long as that means you haven't completely popped your spine and your ribs. So you're still keeping that weight of your sternum. And then again, lean forward and slide back up. And it's really okay if you only go 2 inches but initiate that 2 inches from your pelvis rolling forward over your leg bones rather than your head, neck, and shoulders leading. 5, 4, nice. Okay, and then stack back up. Relax your hands, relax your legs. Come on off your whatever it is that you're sitting on. And then let's get a little openness into the fronts of your hips and thighs. So grab something to put under your pelvis. So again, it could be a block, it could be a half dome, it could be a squishy ball. Squishy ball is nice because it gives you a little bit of a balance challenge. You don't want anything under your head unless that's uncomfortable for you. Legs up towards the ceiling, and we'll do some scissors. So arms nice and strong on the floor, and then a slow scissor. So you're pulling one leg back, getting a stretch through your hamstrings. Use your stomach muscles to anchor your ribs, curl your pubic bones towards the ceiling, and get stretch and length through the leg that's traveling down. And hold when you get to the very end. And hold when you get to the very end. So take that little moment to really dive deep into the hamstring quad stretch portion of the program. And then take the exact same motion, and instead of going really slowly, go quickly. So now you need to use your abdominals to kind of control against the weight and the momentum and to keep your balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then transition into bicycle with a little awareness that as you bicycle, you want to kind of pass through a scissors moment where both legs are straight and reaching away from each other. 5, 4, 3, ribs still nice and heavy so that you're getting that upper ab work. 2, and last one, flex your feet and change directions. So now you're lifting your leg and pausing with the length. Lift and pause. So now you've got lots of quad and hip flexor work happening. Three, 2, and last one. And then come on back into center, bring your legs down. And do a just if you've got a squishy ball underneath you, do a little bit of a roll side to side. If you're using a block or a half dome or something that doesn't roll, then just take it out and do a little windshield wiper. Just a little bit of pelvic movement. And then come on back to your stretchy band. And have a seat. And pop the band around just your right foot. So now we're going to go back to look at more of an alignment process. So ideally, your knee is pointing towards the ceiling, your ankle is pointing straight up towards the ceiling, and then your foot is going to be at whatever angle it needs to be at for you to maintain that straight line through your leg. And then point and flex, and point and flex. And if you don't have a stretchy band, you can do this with a yoga strap. And if you don't have either of those things, then just sort of imagine some resistance as you move through your ankle. And watch your knee and watch your foot and your ankle. Can you keep your ankle centered when you're moving your foot, or does it tend to wobble out to the side? If it tends to wobble out to the side, see if you can put more effort into pushing the big toe side of your foot forward, and see if that helps to straighten out your foot and your ankle. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then make circles again with your ankle. So you press your foot out to the side and then down and then in towards center and come back up. But ideally, you're not moving your leg or your shin. So this is an excellent contributing factor to this kind of being able to track your knees, and having mobility and control of your feet and your ankles helps to make movement happen where it's supposed to, rather than it all has to come from your knees and your hips. Change directions. And same thing, all the way up to the side, all the way up. So you're working the front of your shin, all the way in and all the way down. So you work your calf. Last two. And last one. And then you change over and you do the same thing on the other side. Line everything up so that you've got this line coming out from your hip to your knee. Your knee is pretty centered, down through your shin. Your ankle stays pretty centered. And then press your foot into the band and pull back. And press and pull. And notice whether your foot is staying in line with your ankle. And is your ankle staying in line with your knee, or is everything tending to want to curve one way or the other? And if it is, what can you do to bring it to center? And it's basically press with the opposite side of your foot, right? So if your foot is, if you've got your left leg out and your foot is angling towards the right, then you want to push harder with the big toe side of your foot. If your foot is angling out, then you want to push harder with the baby toe side of your foot to kind of level up the effort. Three, two, last one, and then go for circles. So now you're trying to keep your shin and your knee really still, and you can certainly use one hand on the bands and one hand on your knee and your shin to stabilize. But we're isolating the rotation in your ankle joint. And then change directions. Five, 6, 7, and one more is 8. And then hop both feet into the band, and let's do a couple of roll downs. So flip your hands so that the ends of the band are pointing up towards the ceiling. Your fists are pointing in towards each other. Legs are long and heavy on the floor, and you start from as upright a position as is possible for you. And then tailbone curl, so low abs, low abs, low abs. Curl your pelvis back. Curl your low back towards the floor. Then the base of your ribs. Then the bottoms of your shoulder blades. And then the tops of your shoulders, and then your head. And then same thing in reverse. Slide your eyes and your nose and your chin down, and then float your head off the floor. And then your shoulders and your shoulder blades, the base of your ribs, your lower back, round scoop, like deep abdominal work here. Curve forward, reach the crown of your head towards your knees, and then stack your spine back up. Tailbone curl first. Roll through your sacrum, and then through your lower back. and then through your mid back and the base of your ribs, and then the bottom of your shoulder blades, and then the tops of your shoulders, and then your head. And come on back up. Eyes, nose, chin, head floats up off the floor, shoulders off the floor, shoulder blades off the floor. Pull the band up towards the ceiling to give you a little bit more resistance and a little more effort. Legs heavy, nicely done. Come all the way forward, reach the crown of your head towards your knees, and stack back up. One more time, tailbone curl first. Low abs. Really use that curl of your pubic bones towards your belly button to initiate the movement, and then roll down through your pelvis, and then your lower back. Nice. And then your mid back, and the bottoms of your ribs, bottoms of your shoulder blades, tops of your shoulders, and your head. Find the length. And then one more time coming up. First, slide your eyes and your nose and your chin down, and then lift your head, and then curl through your shoulders. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling if you need that little extra bonus support from the band. Curl through your spine. Reach your head forward. Reach your shoulders forward. Belly button pulling back. Come all the way around, and then stack back up and lose the band. And then let's do some more squats. Because why not? So position yourself in front of your device so that you can see your tracking of your knees. Bring your legs to a generous hip distance apart. And bend and straighten. So pretend, kind of borrow back to the bending and straightening with the band. Think of the idea when you straighten back up that you're pressing your legs away from you, you're pressing your feet into the band, and that you have this weighted resistance as you bend. You're almost like you're trying to stop yourself from doing the squat. So you've got this internal resistance, and then press from your feet down into the floor so that it's not all coming from your knees. It's not coming from your upper body. It's coming from your feet. Press your heels down, 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 down as you lengthen your hips and your knees. Nice. 3 more. Go slow on the coming back up. So don't pop up. Come down again. Bend, pause. Pause in the downward position. Now, don't think about lifting your upper body. Just straighten your legs. Slowly, 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 so that your upper body gradually responds to the straightening of your legs. It's like you have as though you had a barbell across your shoulders that was holding you down. And you have to create this internal resistance as you straighten back up. One more time. Slow bend, hold at the bottom. Let's hold at the bottom just for fun. So you've got you're in your squat. Shift your weight a little bit over onto your right heel, and then a little over onto your left heel. And you want to pause at each side so that you can kind of take a moment to appreciate the delight that is the extra work into your glutes and hamstrings. One more in each direction. And then come back to center, and then pause and do the same thing where you're pressing your heels down and you're pressing your hips away from your heels, and your upper body just gradually stacks up and everything opens up. And then let's do a little mini lunge. So grab something a bit soft for your knee. So a half dome, a bolster, a cushion. Roll up your mat. Bring your right knee down. Bring your left foot forward. Take your left foot forward enough that it's not a 90-degree angle at your knee. So you're a little bit more open here. And see if you can level your pelvis reasonably well so that both hips are the same distance from the floor and the same distance from the wall in front of you. And then just ease forward and ease back. You don't need to go really far, and you are trying to keep a pretty stable relationship between your ribs and your pelvis. So you're not doing a big, there's no big pulling into your back. So we're looking for a stretch in the front of your right hip and thigh. A couple more like this. And then pause in the forward position. Maybe add a little bit of a tailbone curl, not a lot, just a little, just to make sure that your abs are on and you're kind of set and stable. Fold your hands over your chest and twist to the left. So you have your right knee down and now you're twisting away from the stretching side. So twist to the left and come back to center. And again to the left and center. And again to the left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then bring your arms forward and reach. So you're still twisting to the left, but now you're reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling and your right arm down towards the floor. And then come back to center, both arms in front. Twist to the left and reach your arms away on a diagonal and come back to center. Exhale as you twist. Inhale to center. 3 and 2 and last one. And then come on back into center and change over. Same thing, other side. Left knee down, right foot forward. Right foot forward enough that you've got some space to play around with. Level your pelvis as best you can. So both hips same distance from the floor, both hips same distance from the wall in front of you. And then ease forward and ease back. You're trying to make sure that you are stable enough in your abdominal muscles that as you ease forward, you're not really moving. I mean, your back is changing position in space, but that you're not getting a big pull into your lower spine or into the position of your ribs. So the movement is all coming from your hip joint. A couple more. And then pause in the forward position, going to a place where you feel like you can sustain this for a couple of minutes. That it's not a 10 out of 10 degree of stretch. We're looking for more like a 4 or a 5. Fold your hands over your chest and then twist to the right, keeping your pelvis still so that as you twist, there's no change in position to the rest of your lower body. And twist. Always twisting to the right, always twisting away from the stretching side. And then come to center, reach both arms out in front of you. And then again, twist to the right, but this time as you twist to the right, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling and your left arm down towards the floor. And then come to center, both arms in front of your shoulders. Twist, big diagonal line, and center, arms come forward. Twist up and open, and center, and twist, and center. 3 and 2 and last one. And come back to center, come off your nice whatever soft thing it is that you've been using, and let's go for the horrible slow leg lift. So you're going to come down onto the floor Support your head a little bit. Find that nice heavy plantedness for your shoulders and your ribs. Keep your left leg bent, foot on the floor, right leg down flat on the ground. And then poke around with your hands a little bit. You want to get the same distance along your waist on both sides. So that will often mean reaching your left hip down a little bit, pulling your right hip up towards your ribs just a smidgen, and then making sure that your pelvis is equally weighted left to right on the floor. So both butt cheeks evenly weighted. Take a breath in, and then we're going to take a slow 5 count to lift your right leg, only as high as you can go without moving anything else. So inhale to stay, start your exhale, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, take a breath in. So your leg stays completely straight and does not at any point go higher than the other knee. So bring your leg down further, Eva. And then slowly down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Re-land on the floor, re-stabilize your pelvis. So this is a weird and tricky little technical exercise. How high your leg goes is completely unimportant. I would rather see your leg 2 inches off the floor, but your pelvis completely stable, because the idea here is to strengthen your hip flexors and to stabilize, strengthen your quads and help stabilize your kneecaps. So really pay attention to keeping your butt level on the floor. Take a breath in, start your exhale, slow lift, 5, 4, legs super straight, 3, 2, 1. Hold, take a breath in. Check with your left foot. You want to be heavy on your left butt, but light on your left foot. Slowly down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully land on the floor and relax. One of the best cheats in this exercise is to push into the bent knee foot. Makes lifting the other leg super easy. We want this to be as hard as it can possibly be. Take a breath in. Start your exhale, get your core responding to the exhale, and then slowly lift. Light on your left foot, heavy on your left hip, and ease up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top, and then down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then shift over and do the same thing on the other side. So right knee bent, left leg heavy on the floor. Ribs planted. Your lower spine's not going to change position as your leg moves. Pelvis level from left to right. So now it's your right hip is going to stay heavy to the floor, but your right foot is going to be just lightly balanced on the floor. Take a breath in. Start your exhale and then add the leg lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top. Take a breath in and then exhale down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Totally relax at the bottom. Reset. Ribs, pelvis, left, right, light through the right foot. Take a breath in. Start your exhale and then lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top. It gets easier the higher you go, right? The hardest part is at the bottom. And then slide down. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale to stay. Exhale to lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top. Take a breath in and slide down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, go back to the first leg. We're going to do it again, but we're going to do it in external rotation so that you use your inner quad muscles, which help to stabilize your kneecap and center your kneecap. The technical name for this exercise is the patella centering leg lift. Possibly the sexiest name for an exercise you could possibly come up with. So you have your right leg down heavy on the floor, and you're going to turn right from the hip socket, turn your leg out a little bit so that it's not your inner thigh that's pointing, but it's like the inner of your quad muscles is more pointing towards the ceiling. This makes it harder to keep your pelvis level. So as you've turned your right leg out, double check that your left butt and your left ribs are still planted on the floor. Take a breath in. On the exhale, keep the turn out as you slowly lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top. Inhale to stay and exhale down. 2, 3, 4, 5. When you get to the bottom, double check that you're still turned out before you do the next one. Inhale to stay. Left hip stays heavy. Left foot is light. Exhale, lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale at the top. Exhale down. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale for nothing. Exhale. Anchor your ribs, anchor your pelvis, lighten your foot and lift your leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top. Inhale to stay and make the coming down work. 2, 3, 4, 5. So exactly. My expectation is that the turned out version is harder to do than the parallel version because we're getting out of the way your body is normally patterned, right? It's a different habit. This is not a habit. The way you normally move is a habit. Change over, same thing, other side. So now you've got your left leg down on the floor. Your right leg is bent. It's going to be your right butt that stays heavy on the floor, your right foot that stays light. Your left leg is extended. Turn your left leg out so that you're making that inner quad available for work in a way that it isn't normally. Inhale to stay. Keep your right side nice and heavy except for your foot, which is light, and exhale and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So slow your lift down, Eva, by like half, and then slide back down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come to the floor and totally relax. Reset. Pelvis level. Heavy through the right hip, heavy through the right ribs. Take a breath in. Right foot stays kind of floaty as you exhale to lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. 5. Perfect. Inhale at the top. Hold. Exhale, nice and slow down. Your leg is heavy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Fully relax. One more time. Reset. Inhale to stay. Start with your exhale and then add the leg lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the top. Big breath in and then down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Bend both knees, bring your feet together, bring your knees out to the side, have a little inner thigh stretch. So that one, ideally it's not really hard, but for most of us, if we're doing it well, it's pretty challenging. Hard work for your hip flexors, hard work for your quads, hard work for your abdominal muscles. But it's really hard to combat the patterns where we move our legs by tucking our butt, right? If you roll a little bit towards the top of your sacrum, you're losing some of the hip work. If you twist and one butt cheek comes a little lighter off the floor, you're losing the hip work. If you push into the other foot, you lose the hip work. It's tricky little technical exercise. Okay, bring your legs back up, take your feet wide, do a couple of windshield wipers. Nice. And then sit up, and we're going to do some active internal rotation, which I know seems weird if you're trying to not have your legs go in, but again, a little work, a little circulation is a good thing for changing patterns. So come into your 90 and 90 position. So you have your right foot back behind you and your left foot meeting up with your right knee. And then twist and put your hands on the floor to your left. And your arms are strong. You're pushing your arms into the floor. You're pushing your chest away from the floor. Your abdominal muscles are engaged. Flex your right foot and pull your right heel away from the ground and back down. Pull your heel up and with control come back down. Press and release. So you have your right foot behind you, left foot meeting right knee. twist to the left. 5, 4, 3, 2. On the last one, hold up and add a little pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then slide your foot down. Bring your hands off the floor and then go for an active change in position. So press your right knee up towards the ceiling. Keep your left knee down as long as you possibly can. And then pull your left knee up as you continue to press your right knee towards the floor. Does this feel okay, Mira? You're good? Okay. So then you come back into the other side and then you twist. You put your hands on the floor towards the right. You're reaching your right butt, the left butt down away from the shoulders. You flex your ankle and then you press your left heel up away from the floor and down and turn and down. Ah. Perhaps a little bit of a hip cramp could happen. Five, 4, 3, 2. On the last one, you're going to hold your heel up away from the floor and add 10 little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come on down. And that same deliberate push. Push your left, come to center, sorry, take your hands off the floor. Now push your knee up and away and back and around, whatever word makes sense for you. Keep the other knee down as long as you can. It's like you're moving through almost frozen molasses, like lots and lots and lots and lots of resistance. Complete the move. And then without using your hands in some way or another, come back up and we will finish with a couple more squats. So feet pointing forward, legs a generous hip distance apart. Well, okay, this is nowhere close to hip distance. Go to whatever feels like a good position. And then if you just bend, don't try and change anything or force anything. Where are your knees tracking now? With your feet pointing straight forward. And mine were absolutely tracking in to start with, but they're not anymore. So come on down into whatever size of squat works for you, and then backs of the legs to push you up, heels pressing down. Find that internal resistance. Resist the coming down. It's like you're pushing springs into the floor with your butt, and then you're resisting the springs as you come back up. Nice. Couple more. Good. Last one. Excellent. That looks fantastic. Very, very nice.